How's it going, everybody? Marvel Cross 316 back with another comic book flashback. Today we're looking at Daredevil issue number 2. This issue came out in June 1964, and as we look on the cover today, we have Daredevil going one-on-one with the menacing Electro. So, as promised from last issue, Daredevil would go up against his very first superpowered villain on his own. And so Electro is going to be the first villain that he goes up against. And we know that from Amazing Spider-Man issue 9, he made his first appearance. And so this is his second appearance, I believe, because he makes another appearance in Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 1. But I believe this issue comes out before Annual number 1. So this truly is Electro's second appearance. It's a pretty key comic book, I have to say. Also, we're going to be looking at a guest appearance of Thing and the Fantastic Four in this issue as well. Will they be helping Daredevil stop Electro? We'll have to come and find out all of this. So before we get started, don't click away because we are about to look at a fantastic story. And go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe if you have not. And let's go ahead and get started. This is brought to you by Stan Lee, who wrote the issue. We have Joe Orlando doing the artwork for this one. We have Vince Coletta on the inking and Sam Rosen on the lettering page. Today's title is The Evil Menace of Electro. So we'll be looking exactly how Daredevil will be able to stop this menacing villain, because Spider-Man had a very hard time stopping him back in issue number 9. And so it shows right here exactly when Electro made his first appearance, which was in Amazing Spider-Man number 9. So we'll see all of that. So we start out the issue today. We're at Nelson and Murdoch's attorney at law. Remember from last issue that Nelson and Murdoch, this is Foggy Nelson by the way, they both decided to begin this attorneys at law. They're working together. They're attorneys, and they also hired on this person right here, which is Karen Page, who is the secretary there at that place, the private office. And all of a sudden, we have just the Thing come in, and here's the first time that Thing makes his appearance in a Daredevil comic. And he just smashes through the door. He's looking for anybody that can help him, because they're looking for a lawyer basically to work for a lease on their Fantastic Four building. So they need some lawyer to basically come do some legal work on their lease for their Fantastic Four building. And so the Thing came to Nelson and Murdoch to basically see if they can help. So the Thing here, he puts together back the door through his own welding experience here. He sits down, tells them exactly what's going on, and we have Foggy Nelson here. He's like, oh, well, we can have Matt Murdock come by, and I'm sure he'll be able to help. And Thing basically says, well, look, we're going out of town. We're going to Washington, D.C. We're going to be awarded medals, basically, for being probably the best superheroes of all time. So the President of the United States at the time is going to award the Fantastic Four for their victories. And so the Fantastic Four are going to be out of town, so we're going to have to see if Matt Murdock here will be able to stop on by the Fantastic Four building and do some legal work. So we had the Fantastic Four car. They pick up the Thing, and they're headed to Washington. And so where is Matt Murdock? Where is he at? And so we see the yellow legs of Daredevil. And it looks like Daredevil is breaking up these group of gangs here. These group of gangs here, they are basically painting cars illegally. And so we know that Daredevil here is all about, keeping the law and justice. He's all about that. And so he's going to be fighting off against these common day crooks here to stop them, because they are basically working for somebody. And we come to find out that that somebody will be the main villain for this issue today. So Daredevil, he instantly and easily takes on these common day crooks here. And so we see right here that Electro was in charge of this little gang here. But he says, you know what, I'm tired of stealing cars and everything. I'm bored with that. I need to, do something more exciting. We see a little bit of the origin story behind Electro. If you ever missed out on issue number 9, go watch my review of that in Amazing Spider-Man issue number 9. But we recall how Max Dillon was electrocuted by lightning. He was an electrician, and while he was electrocuted by lightning, instead of dying from that electrical burst, he gained superpowers. And because of those gained superpowers, now he feels like he can menace humankind. And so now we have Electro here. He's thinking all about his next scheme, what he wants to do. And he overhears the 6 o'clock news and that the Fantastic Four have left the residency of New York City. They're going to Washington. So Electro has this bright idea that he's going to go to the Fantastic Four. He's going to sneak into the building and he's going to try to discover scientific secrets so that he can sell those secrets to foreign nations and receive a fortune. So that's basically the master plans of Electro here, and we're going to see how Daredevil plays into all this. We have Matt Murdock. He returns back to the offices of Nelson and Murdock, and Nelson basically tells him about how he had the Thing come by, and he missed a pretty good chance to meet him, and how the Fantastic Four are basically, waiting for him to do some legal work for them. Now we also see that Karen Page, as we recall, she does have an attraction for Matt Murdock, and come to find out that she has a friend that could cure Matt Murdock of his blindness. Now, we remember the unique thing about Daredevil is that when he was blinded by the radioactive materials in issue number 1, he gained an extra ability with the rest of his senses. He can hear better, he can taste better, he can feel better. And so even though his eyesight is gone, his other senses heightened basically. And so the main fear he has is if he undergoes the operation to cure his eyesight, he may lose his abilities as Daredevil. So he turns down the chance to cure his eyes, and he tells Karen Page he'll think about it. But this upsets Karen Page because now she feels that he's avoiding her for the rest of the issue. Now let's go ahead and look exactly what Electro's up to here. And so now he has finally sneaked into the Fantastic Four building. We have Matt Murdock. He's going towards the Fantastic Four building simultaneously as Daredevil. He's dressed up as Daredevil. We don't know why he's dressed up as Daredevil, but he shows up as Daredevil. I guess he thinks that he could just show up in disguise at any point. And so we have right here that Electro comes to find out that Daredevil is on the premises of the Fantastic Four building. And so now Electro is going to be playing a pretty much game of cat and mouse here. He's going to be throwing electrical bolts at Daredevil. Daredevil, of course, can really sense electronic things. Again, he has an excellent hearing ability. So Daredevil tries to shut off the power so that he can use the darkness to his advantage. He stumbles upon a dumbbell on the floor. This happens to be the Thing's dumbbell. He has a giant dumbbell that he likes to lift weights with. But Daredevil does not have the strength to lift this dumbbell as he wanted to throw it at Electro. Electro catches Daredevil off guard, knocks him out, and so Electro now has the advantage. He's going to put Daredevil here on this rocket ship of the Fantastic Four, and then as we see, he's struggling a little bit of how to launch this rocket into outer space, but he finally decides, I'll just use my electrical abilities to launch this missile into the space here. So now we have a helpless Daredevil who's tied, and he is helpless in space. So how in the world is Daredevil going to get back to Earth? Well, we see just the genius behind Matt Murdock here. Even though he is blind, he is able to control the ship to go back to Earth. And he goes right back to Manhattan here. And so he pretty much gathers a crowd here, and the crowd is like, wow, who is this person? Who is Daredevil? Because, of course, a lot of people just don't know who Daredevil is. The cops try to apprehend him. Now we see that Daredevil, he grabs a hold of this horse here, and it's pretty cool here. He's just like riding this horse and oncoming traffic. He grabs a hold of this flagpole here, and he changes back to Matt Murdock. Karen Page is walking out of the private office of Nelson and Murdock, and she sees Matt Murdock from a distance, and she cries out to him saying, "Hey, Matt!" But Matt Murdock ignores her, and she knows that he has ignored her as well. And so now we have a very upset Karen Page here, and she's thinking, I must have offended him by bringing up that offer about curing his eyesight. Now we have Matt Murdock. He's still on the chase of Electro. He changes back to Daredevil, and now he, instead of going on foot, he's actually going to get on this heliport here, and he's going to instantly locate where Electro is at. So by being thousands of feet up in the air, we have Daredevil here. He's a sightless man, but again, this is why they call him the man without fear. And so Electro is still at the Fantastic Four building. He finally comes across the scientific secrets of the Fantastic Four. They're all mathematical equations, but they will be very useful to foreign nations. So now Electro seems to have the upper hand. We have Daredevil here. Just luckily, this heliport passes over the Fantastic Four building, and so we have Daredevil. He smashes through the skylight. Daredevil is just on the foot here. He's going to try to chase Electro down. Electro is like, how in the world did he survive that? How did he get out of that missile? And so we have Electro here going down the electrical cables with his own electrical power. Daredevil is on the foot race again. We have Electro gets on a car and he goes into this movie theater. So now Daredevil and Electro are going to be fighting in a movie theater. It doesn't get any more exciting than this, folks. We have all of these actresses here like, oh my goodness, it's Electro, and he could cause so much damage to my hair and all this crap. And so Daredevil is on the race here. He's trying to capture Electro. Electro catches him off guard here with electrical bolts. Electro seems to get the upper hand here, but Daredevil releases the control panel that will release the curtain. And so the curtain falls on Electro, and then the police apprehend Electro by spraying him and dousing him with water hoses that will short circuit his electrical abilities. So that pretty much ends the reign of Electro here. He's going back to jail here. So Daredevil goes back to the Fantastic Four building, does a pretty good job on welding the safe so that the secrets are safe. He goes back to Nelson and Murdock's private office, and then we have the arrival of the Fantastic Four. They're back from Washington, and they're wondering if Matt Murdock has been able to do the report for the lease on the Fantastic Four building, but Matt Murdock did not have the chance to do that as he was battling Electro. And so we have a very disappointed Fantastic Four here. All four members are going to say, you know what, we'll find somebody who works a little bit faster. And so now we have Foggy Nelson very upset as he lost very good clients here. 4 famous clients that they could use. But now those clients are gone thanks to Matt Murdock. But of course, Matt Murdock cannot tell Foggy Nelson that he was working as Daredevil, taking down Electro. And so that ends the story today. Hope you liked today's story. And as always, we'll look what happens next as we look at issue number 3. Until then, keep reading comics.